Let's go back to players of the week for last week. In the kicking game was Nick Van Hoos. Those two big fumble recoveries were huge. Great punting by Brandon all day, but a terrific job by Nick being down there where he's supposed to be. To be a nice garbage man cleaning up the trash there as the ball's on the ground. Offensive player of the game was Patrick Ward. Pat's playing at a very high level right now, graded out very high. So did Brian Mulrow up front. Both those guys played very well on defense. Ibrahim Campbell had an outstanding football game, was all over the place. Made a bunch of plays for us and was our defensive player of the week. The big playmaker on offense was Benedict Mark. I think his play speaks for itself. And then David Wabusi, same thing, was our defensive big playmaker. Very active on Saturday and made a bunch of big plays for us in practice. Stephen Buckley did a great job a week ago, along with, on offense, Terrence Brown and defense, and Joseph Jones in the kicking game. So those guys did a terrific job. Obviously excited for homecoming this week. Paul Flatley coming back as our honorary captain, was a wide receiver here for us in the early 60s, and Coach Parsegian's team that was ranked #1 in the country, selected in both the AFL and NFL drafts. It's kind of cool. Can't do that anymore, so that's a neat little factoid. Played 7 NFL seasons with Minnesota and Atlanta. He's the 1963 NFC Rookie of the Year and selected to play in the 1966 Pro Bowl. So it's going to be great to have him. And then to have Jay Adonde back as our Grand Marshal for the parade. Good friends of yours, Teddy, right? You guys are boys, so class of 92. Yeah, there you go. So it'll be great to have him back, and it was fun to have Mike back last week, but it'll be great to have Jay back. Looking forward to the game. Obviously each year that we play Iowa, the first thing that you've probably heard from me over the years, and it's with the utmost respect, this is as well coached of a team as we play. Coach Ferentz and his staff do a terrific job. Fundamentally, technically, they took a tough one. We're in a tough one on Saturday, but prior to that, played very well against Michigan State in the road. Very physical team. Had a couple of tough injuries, especially the old lineman that got hurt on Saturday. It's a tough deal. I know something about broken legs. It's a tough deal, and feel for him on that. But James Vandenberg's been there now, seems like, for a long time. Played well for him. Mark Weissman come on here this year and been very physical for him. We'll fully expect him to play. Keenan Davis steps into that kind of marquee receiver role for them. They've also gotten the ball to Martin Manley, and then I'm really impressed with Jordan Cotton. He can run. He's also their kick returner. Took one to the house. C.J. Fedorowicz is a local young man here that plays tight end for them. Big, physical, imposing guy, 6'7", 265, 270. And obviously their offensive line is very, very well coached, very fundamentally sound. They do a terrific job. On defense, up front, they do a great job. They kind of bring 8 guys at you. They're very fundamentally sound. They attack your schemes. Their linebacker play is outstanding. Kind of like when we played Penn State. Their linebacking core really jumps out to me. James Morris in the middle, very physical. Great leader in there, does a terrific job. I think Hitchens is #1 in the Big Ten in tackles, very active at the kind of their will linebacker position. And then Kirksey on the outside's got not only great physicality, but also has DB-type skills. The back end, Micah Hyde is an all Big Ten level player, year in and year out, a 3-year starter for them. Another really solid return guy in the pass form, great in special teams. Tanner Miller, really physical safety, and then Greg Castillo and Donatel played a little bit of Sam against us a year ago in their nickel package. They'll bring some guys in nickel and dime also in third down. Kick game, very sound, very fast, very physical. Going to be a great challenge for us. But I know our guys will be excited for it. I thought the attitude was really good this morning. I'll get back to work here tomorrow morning. So with that, how about some questions?
What can you tell us on your favorite topic of injuries in terms of Venrick, Nick, and Quinn?
I expect Venrick to play, and I'd probably put Nick and Quinn probably is doubtful right now as we start the week, and then I'll give you another update. And my only other update on Thursday. That'll be in a paper form, by the way, just to make sure I'm clear.
Quick follow-up. What is Northwestern's potential head injury protocol? If a guy looks a little something, what do you guys do?
Well, first of all, it's got nothing to do with me or the coaching staff. It goes right to our medical team. And so I just get the word whether or not the young man's going to come back in the game or not. So that's what we do and how we do things.
Coach, you look at the Nebraska game, you look at the Penn State game, you guys obviously didn't play your best football, but you still were a couple of plays away from winning those games. What does that say about your team that you guys are not playing great football but still able to really compete with some of the teams here in the conference?
Yeah, well, you know, great is a matter of an opinion. You know, I don't think we've played poorly. You know, I think we've given ourselves a chance to win in both those games. We just haven't made some plays, and we've got to coach our guys better. I mean, that's the one thing when you look at it. There are little details in both games that we could correct, and we will correct. And, you know, things haven't repeated themselves, so that's encouraging. But we were a play away on Saturday. I mean, that was a heck of a Big Ten football game. I mean, that was I don't know, what are those great sayings, slobber knockers or whatever. I mean, those were two teams just battling it out in a physical game. And, you know, I thought both teams, you know, we're one football width away. We're one tip pass. We're one catch. We're a lot of ones. You know, I told 50 guys today that they all lost the game for us. That was a coaching staff included. So get over it, right? You know, there are about 50 plays in that game. They go one way or the other. We win the football game. So it's football, you know, and you move on and you just keep on grinding. But I think we're moving in the right direction. I think our young guys are maturing. We're getting some really good play from some of our more veteran players like Ward, like Mulrow, you know, like Wabusi, even though he's a sophomore, so to speak, in his experience. Ibrahim Campbell. Proby's playing well. Araguzo's playing well. I like the way our deep front's playing. You know, we had some things there, one-on-ones, that we obviously we got to win on to win, and Benrick's obviously playing at a high level, so we've got some good things going on. Just got to keep grinding on it. It's a big week. It's a big week.
Fitz, the message after the game Saturday was flush it, move on.
Yeah.
Is it easy as a coach to have your team focused on flushing it and moving on from a loss like that, or is it, I mean, does that just fall on the leadership?
Yeah, it falls on the leadership. There's no question about it. I mean, I think there's a certain formula that we have around here, win or lose, and you know, we stick to that formula, Chris. And you know, we've had great success with. I mean, we've had solid success. I can't say great. We have won a championship, so we've had solid success out of it. And so we'll stick to the plan and continue to tweak it as we move forward. But you know, the guys understand what happened, what we did, what we can do better, and you know, put it to bed this morning. Moving on, first down, third down, goal line day tomorrow. So start focusing on that on Saturday night.
Couple questions, Fitz, on your offense. Do you ever feel like you guys have become too predictable now? Kanan first down, Kanan second down, Trevor in third down, sort of the run pass split?
You know, I think, again, we're trying to have as much balance as we can and trying to be as you know, true to our blueprint as we possibly can. And you know, I can nitpick one play here, one play there, or one game here, one game there, but you know, we've been pretty consistent throughout the year. We've played two pretty darn good defenses. You know, you can say, well, Nebraska, you know, obviously didn't play very well against Ohio State. They didn't, but Ohio State played really, really well. And I thought in the second half we adjusted pretty well to how they were playing us with a week off, kind of what they were doing, how they were doing it, and we were able to go out and exploit some things. In the second half, we had one drive that, you know, we kind of stubbed our toe in, but then we come back in the 2-minute drill and we moved the ball pretty well. And, you know, probably about 3 yards away from winning the football game. So it's disappointing, but we'll continue to evolve in our offense.
It also seems like, is there room for more creativity sometimes? I mean, on a lot of plays you have two quarterbacks on the field at the same time. You know, you don't really run any trick plays per se. It seems like a lot of other schools, if you watch highlights from other games, you see a lot more of that stuff.
I'm too boring, man. Sorry. Trickeration is not my vocabulary, so I hate to disappoint people. But we've got things, and if you look at the way the game was on Saturday, Teddy, I mean, you could say maybe a trick play makes the difference. Although it was two spread offenses going against each other, that was an old school Big Ten game. I mean, there were 23 punts. It's a pretty good defensive battle, you know, and it's just that's the way the game went. But we've run reverses, we've run plenty of trick plays. I'm not overly concerned with that. We've got about 78 in our package each game. 78, 79 trick plays. So
Let's see them.
that's your opinion.
What have you seen of this Mark Weisman guy for Iowa stepping into that running back role and putting up some big numbers?
Yeah, he's tough. He's physical. He's a local kid here. He's Stevenson High School grad. Knew a lot about him. He's a physical kid. He's impressive to watch. You know, he's been like I said, watching the game Saturday was disappointing to see that he couldn't play for them. You know, because watching the previous games, he had so much success. So tough player.
Pat, is this a good week to be playing Iowa? You're coming off a tough loss, and it's a rivalry on which you place so much emphasis.
I don't think it's ever a good week to play a good team. You know, I just, at the end of the day, again, we're a young ball club, and we're getting older as the year goes along. I think we're starting to progress in some areas. Some areas, obviously, we can still clean some things up. But it's going to be a great football game. Two teams, I think, have a ton of respect for each other, and I know we do on our end. And they've been battles down to the wire here, you know, over the last decade or decade and a half. They've been great football games for the most part. So I wouldn't expect anything different on Saturday. They'll be well prepared and well coached, and you know, like us, you know, wounded from their last experience and hungry for a win.
Did you look at Weissman at all? Maybe as like a super back? Was he on your radar at all?
You know, he was, as we identified his skill set, we thought he was kind of more of a fullback type guy, bigger back. And obviously, I think that's been the initial reason why he went to Iowa, from what I've read.
Air Force.
And then, yeah, well, Air Force, then Iowa, you know, and then, you know, to see how his role has increased, you have to be just terribly impressed. I mean, he's done a terrific job for him. He's a big physical young man.
You talked about after the game, Trevor and Kane kind of missing a little bit on those deep passes that you guys tried on the one-on-one coverage. After looking at the tape, what was that more on the receiver? Was on the quarterback? What kind of went wrong with those deep passes?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of it's a combination of both. There were some plays that I thought the throw was there, and we got to make the play, or we got to stick our foot in the ground and go up and make the play. There were a couple that we underthrew that the receivers did a terrific job of knocking down what could have been an interception. That we underthrew it a little bit. It was a combination of a couple things. But you know, like I said after the game, and I watched the tape, we went 1 for, we go 2 for, we win, right? We got a better chance of winning, so that just is what it is. It's over. You move on.
Yeah, we talked about the leadership before and how part of it falls on them to flush and to move on like that. I mean, how can you describe what you guys have in that leadership council and some of these seniors especially that were able to get you to rebound from Penn State into Minnesota and to recover like that?
Well, I mean, I don't know how much they're doing differently or what they're doing from a standpoint of something spectacular. I think football players and athletes are a lot different than fans. You know, I think as a competitor, you move on. You move on quickly. You know, you got to get back to work. You know, we're back at it again this morning. Our fans can't get back at it again until Saturday, you know, so it lingers a little bit more with them. And then the awesomeness of the 24-hour sports news cycle just fans the flames of negativity or positivity. That's a word. Is that a word, Paul?
I think so.
Is it? All right. One way or the other, you know. So, you know, I'll go back to when I had the great privilege to work for Randy, and he talked all the time about when you win football games is when you really got a challenge on your hand as a coach. You know, and when you stumble and you have some momentary failure and you don't win a football game, is your opportunity to really come together as a ball club. And you know, I thought we did that a couple weeks ago, and you know, I sensed that again here this morning as we got together. I thought the guys came again with a great attitude. They looked at the film critically, and we moved on. We didn't linger. You know, I know you guys are going to have to ask our guys questions about the game on Saturday, but they've moved on. So I know they'll be joyous at 12:40, whatever, when they're done visiting with you, because it'll finally be their opportunity to completely move on. But that is what it is, guys. It's a long year. It's a one-week season each week. You know, each game it almost is in like a season of itself. And you know, our guys, this is what I do know about our ball club. We'll fight our tails off now. I mean, we're a physical ball club, and we'll fight. And if we can coach them up a little better, we can make a couple more plays. I think we've got a chance to have a special finish of the season. And we started the month with no excuses, and now we've got to finish the month that way. And can't finish it with a winning record, but we can get ourselves back to 500 and get to the bye and kind of recharge our batteries a little bit. So it's been a grind to this point. We got to finish what we started here for the first 2 quarters of the season. 3 quarters, I guess I'd say.
Talk a little bit about C.J. Bryant.
Yeah.
Did he make a little leap on the depth chart heading into Saturday's game, and how do you think he played?
Well, you know, CJ's been playing really well in the kicking game for us, and he's been performing well in the practice field. And through that, his role has increased. And you guys know how I feel about practice. I think every rep counts. I think everything you do counts. Everything matters. You know, it's about the little things that make a difference in you as a man, and what makes a difference as you as an athlete. And, you know, he's just been really consistent this year. He's battled through a little bit of injuries, but you know, he's been really, really consistent. So he can run. He's got good hips. He's got good feet. And as his experience continues to grow, I think he's a young man that's going to, when everybody's healthy, I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be in the mix to compete to play corner for us, if not increase his role at nickel and other things of that nature. So, you know, he's doing a good job for us.
Anyone else? Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.